Today on In the Woodyard, I've got a brand new Husqvarna toy, tool, fun thing. We're gonna unbox it, we're gonna start it up, and we're gonna use it. Here we go. So we've had a break in the rain. It's been raining for 2 days now. We got a lot of rain, and it's supposed to rain again this afternoon in about another 3 or 4 hours. So we had a little break in the rain, so I figured I'd come outside and get some work done while I can, because I can always work inside into the night. So that's my plan for today. So I'm going to show you how much rain we got. This is since yesterday at noon, and right now it's not even noon yet. So I don't know, what is that, about 3 inches? So this is my high-tech rain gauge. I've shown you this before, so there it is. That's my rain gauge. That's the rain we got. So I just showed you my high-tech rain gauge that I keep out front so that I can do a quick check to see what kind of amounts of rain we get. I also have a natural rain gauge, and this is one that I got when I bought my property. This is one that was included with the purchase. And so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna check out my other rain gauge. Oh, there it is. Looks like we got some rain. Creek is flowing really nice right now, and that's my other rain gauge. And it didn't come up as high as I thought it would have. We had a lot of rain, so I thought it would be like up onto the grass here, but because it was just a nice steady rain and we'd get some bursts and then it wouldn't rain hard for a while and it would come back. It wasn't like it poured out for 24 hours straight. It was kind of on and off, which is nice because it gets a chance to flow away without just flooding the banks and washing all my flowers and my props and chairs and stuff away. So now we're gonna go up and we're gonna check out the new toy. It's a Husqvarna, but it's not a chainsaw. It is a trimmer. I used to have a corded version for about, I don't know, 10, 12 years, something like that. And I cut the cord a bunch of times and it was basically wore out. It was just a cheapie. So I went and I bought this one. And I have to trim my Christmas trees in the back, and I have bushes to trim here, and I have bushes at home to trim. Now this is not a professional size, or I should say size, a professional model. This is their consumer size or model. And they've got one that is a little bigger, and that's also a consumer size trimmer. And I think it's got instead of a 18-inch cut, which is what this one is, I think the other one is like a 24 or something like that. And I think it's got a bigger engine. This is a 22cc, and the other one was like might have been like a 28 or a 30, I don't know, something like that. But this one was 220 bucks, 230, something like that I paid for it. The next one up from this was like 340 or something like that, so well over $100 more. And I didn't really need it. That a couple of extra inches was not that big a deal for another $100 and some. And you know, if I get 10, 15 years out of this, I'll be happy. I have a lot of bushes to trim at home, and I've got a lot of them to do here at the studio, plus my trees in the back. And the one I had, like I mentioned, was a corded version, and I forget what brand it was even, but it was getting bad. It was really loose, and I had hit the cord a few times. I was getting sick and tired of having to pull a cord around, so I got a gas one. And I could have got a battery one. They make battery ones. Battery ones were like another $100 bucks. I just like the smell of two-cycle, so I'm kind of weird that way. And I don't know about the whole battery thing. About the time you need it, your battery's not charged, or you run out, and then you got to wait to finish the job. Got to buy extra batteries. I'm just not a battery guy. I just put more gas in and go. So that's the one I got. They make about 10 different models. This, like I said, this is the base model one, 230-ish, and they go all the way up to about 600 bucks. They have some that, you know, have much bigger motors on them, and they've got longer cutting shafts, and they've got some that have extendable shafts that kind of have another arm that comes out, so you can reach much higher and everything. But this will work fine for what I'm going to use. So we're going to unbox it, and we're going to start it up, and we're going to do some trimming. Okay, so here we go. We're going to pop her open and see what's inside. Hopefully I got a good one and it's going to work. And oh, that's interesting. It says right here in the box, most of the Husqvarna stuff that you buy is not made in China, but this is. So that's interesting. So we'll get her opened up. Oh, look at that. It's got a little sheath and everything here. Pull this out. Pull out all the destructions. Oh, look at that. It comes with a nice big scrunch. I like that. Oh, and it's got the starter. Oh, it's got grease and it's got professional Husqvarna 2-cycle oil. Isn't that nice? And it's got instructions. Cool. Yeah, well, we're not going to open those. We're going to do it the usual way. And we're just going to start it up. Fill it up with gas and start it and figure it out as we go. What does this say? Oh, it says, oh, this is your steps on how to do stuff. We'll figure that out. I do like the sheath it's got here. And it's a nice heavy plastic. I do like that. Now this is something I wish they made for their chainsaws. Maybe they do on the new ones now. The old chainsaws, you could get the scabbard that would go over, but it's a real thin plastic, and as you go on and off with it over time, the teeth hit your chain on your chainsaw, and it's constantly digging. So mine are all ripped all the way up from sliding them on and off. This is a heavier duty plastic, so that's kind of nice. So there it is. Oh, it's got cutting edges on both sides. So yeah, not too bad. It would be nice if this was longer, if I would have got the other one. It was another $100 just to gain a couple more inches. But I can reach, and I have ladders, but it's a nice looking one. Nice looking little machine. And this weighs 10 pounds. Get over here so you guys can see me. Not that that matters, but yeah, it's not too heavy. It says Sweden, but it was made in China. That's what it said anyway, so that's not good. It's got a stop button, got a trigger. What is this here? I'm guessing that is your choke. So that's the choke right here. And I'm guessing this is your air filter. Let's take a look and see. It's got to be what it is. It's what it is. It's just a little spongy filter, nothing special. And on the front of where the choke is here, there's a primer right here you got to reach in. It's kind of an odd spot. I don't like that. It'd be nice if it was on the side, because it's kind of way in there. You got to reach in there to prime it. But I figure I'll get used to that, no problem. Balance, really nice. Okay, let's put some gas in it and see if it'll start. I already have mixed oil here. I mean, not mixed oil, mixed gas. Okay, so I already have mixed gas because I have chainsaws, and it's actually Husqvarna mix in the gas oil. So I'm actually using the right kind. Well, that's good. It's got a keeper so it doesn't fall off. That's nice. And we're gonna put some in here. I have no idea how much it's gonna hold. My guess is not a lot. These little bitty engines generally don't have big tanks. Like any trimmer I've ever used is, that's probably about enough right there. It's not full, but full enough. Hey, I didn't spill a drop. Of course, I don't have the cover on yet. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. I like these tanks like this now. They're putting on a lot of stuff where you can see what you've got in there, so you don't always have to take your cap off to see if there's anything in there. So, well, let's give her a pull and see what happens. All right, this is going to be live, first time ever starting coverage. Hopefully this will be a first time starts, every time starts kind of little engine here. So I'm going to prime it first. You couldn't see the primer before because it's kind of tucked way back in here, but that's where it is. So I'm going to pump that a bunch of times till it looks like there's some fuel in there. Oh, here it comes. We got fuel. I don't know. Usually you pump these things 8, 9, 10 times. There we go. And I'm gonna put the choke on, and All it is a stop button, so there's no start. So that's pretty much it from what I can tell. So let's see what happens. Ooh, almost. I'm gonna de-choke it because I had it choked. I probably shouldn't stick my finger in there. I'm supposed to have on gloves. I'm supposed to wear steel-toed boots, and I'm supposed to have glasses on. I'm gonna get some glasses and some gloves before I start trimming. What's nice is that as soon as you let up on the trigger, it stops instantly. It seems to be very tight. Okay. Oh, you push the stop button, it stops instantly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some grease on this thing before I start, because they have a grease tube. So I'm gonna put some on. I can see there's some grease in here already. You can see there's a little bit on there, but I'm gonna squirt a little bit in there just to make sure it's lubricated good. We're gonna do that first. I'm gonna get some safety glasses. I already got ear plugs in. I got boots on, I'm gonna get some gloves, and we're gonna go do some trimming. So here we go. Well, I got out the little grease tube that they give you here, and oh, I got to poke a hole in it. So let's do that. Wow, that's really there we go. That was completely thick plastic, so I guess they don't want it to leak out when they're shipping, which makes sense. So I think what I'm going to do, from what I can tell, the way these teeth work sliding back and forth, I'm going to try to just squirt the grease right into the joints here. I'm just going to hit all these little joints, every single one of them. And as it works, I'll start it up and it'll get it to slide. So I'm just going to kind of dab it in there. I didn't read the instructions. I don't know if this is the way you're supposed to do it, but it's the way that makes sense to me, because it's right where the teeth slide together, right in these spots. So I'm just going to do this, and I'll probably do this when I use it. I'll probably do this, you know, every time before I start, or maybe I'll just do it when I'm done each time. That way it can sit and have grease on it so it doesn't rust up. Start it up and then get it so that it's kind of worked in a little bit. So it's actually kind of a nice little tube to put the grease on with. So there, I did that whole side. Now we're going to do this side, and I'm sure that there's grease in here from the factory, but more grease generally doesn't hurt anything. So we're just going to gob it in there. So yeah, in the comments, let me know if you guys can teach me anything about, you know, trimmers, because I never had a gas one before. I just had that electric one. It was not a Husqvarna one, the old one I had. I don't even remember what it was. I threw it out last year because it was so bad, and then this year now I went and bought this one because all my shrubs need trimming, so I figured I would just wait. Oh, I can see right there. I'm going to put some right down through here too. I'm just going to squirt a gob in here. That's good there. So there, I got it in between all of the teeth there. So yeah, I needed a new one, and figured I'd get one that's halfway decent, and so here it is, and I got trimming to do. So let's go get busy. Okay, so we're out in my little tree area here where I have my Christmas trees growing. These are balsams I planted 6-7 years ago, something like that. I've only trimmed them, I think, twice ever. I trimmed them when they were small, and then a couple years ago. So it's been a couple years, and you need to trim them every year. But you can save trees by trimming them pretty harsh, and that's what I'm going to do. So you can see this one here has got a double top. See, this is split right here. So the straighter one is the one I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep this one. I'll trim this off, and I'm going to trim this down. I'm going to trim it pretty tight. It's going to look pretty sad when I get done, but that's what it needs. Because the more you trim them, the better you trim them, the better the tree looks. So that is the plan. The reason I know a little bit about this is my dad has had a Christmas tree farm now for about the last 30 years or so, since he retired. Almost 30 years. He started it when he was like 55 and he's 82 now. So yeah, a long time. So anyway, I'm gonna get trimming on these, and so I've helped him trim a bunch, and we used to do about 1,000 trees a year that we would sell. And I think at his peak at one time he had around 20,000 trees that we watered, trimmed, cut, hauled, stacked, sold, all that kind of stuff. So I've worked with Christmas trees a little bit. I'm not a professional by any means, but I know a little bit. So these need to be trimmed. And the other day I mowed around some of these, so we're gonna start trimming right now. So we're gonna start this puppy up and see what happens. Now this isn't technically the way trees generally get trimmed. On a lot of the big farms, they have guys that will trim them with the long, skinny, they use 2 of them at a time. They go up and down and they just kind of slice around the trees. That's okay for a young guy that can work all day long, but when you get old, you need power equipment. My dad has a commercial grade battery operated trimmer that he wears. It's a backpack and it's got a hip mount, and the trimmer actually sits on your hip, and all you do is you go like this all day long, lifting it up and down, and it's got a big wheel on the top of it that he can cut all the way up to like 10 feet or something like that. I want to say his machine he's got probably cost him 800 bucks, something like that. He's got a couple of them, and that's what he uses. But so anyway, we're gonna get to town on this baby right now. So let's start her up again. Should start right away. Oh yeah. Whoop, started right away. Yeah, where I put the grease is working, so. Okay, it's trimming time. There we go, one done. About 70 to go. So here's the first tree that I did. You can see it looks pretty sad, but where you cut it, it'll just fill in everywhere, and you want to cut, you know, all these little bitty things. You basically want to cut every single tip if you can, because then it'll grow out from it. These little bitty starters right here, this little red dot you see right there, that'll be a whole nother growth that will come off on the side. You can see these little ones there. So yeah, it's kind of a hack job, but that's what you got to do. And this should have been cut last year when this was just a first sprout, because this is from last year's growth right here. That should have been cut last year. So now it'll all fill in around there though eventually. So I'll just keep hacking on it, and in a few years it'll look nice. And so now we're gonna go and we're gonna cut the rest of these. I don't know how many I've got off. Should do a count again. At one time, this was all trees all the way out to there, and where that wood is stacked over there, that was all trees. I think I had like 170 or 80 at one time, but firewood's more important, because I just grew these for personal use. I don't need that many trees. We'll just keep hacking on them until they look good. So, and every year we'll cut a bunch down. Our kids will get trees from these, I'll get trees, neighbors will get trees, so I got enough to last a while. I can always plant more, and I will. So we're gonna get trimming now. Here's a double top. Again, you can see the double top. You generally want to take the straight one, this is the good one here. So we're going to cut this one off. Just gonna Well, I've been trimming now for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, and whoo, sun came out, he got hot. Sweating like a hooker in a confessional. And I got a whole bunch of the trees trimmed. I'm a little more than halfway done, and I wish I wouldn't have missed last year's trimming. Boy, because there was a lot of splits and doubles that you got to hack off, so this will stunt the trees a bunch from what I just cut, because I had to hack them quite a bit. And so now I just got this half over here to do, but there'll be some nice trees eventually. As you can see there, they got a little shape to them. And there's all different sizes, like this little bitty guy here, eventually take off. That one will be ready in a couple of 3 years. So yeah, I just found something out. Got to show you this. This is awesome. Now, around the wood yard, I have a lot of areas that it's kind of out in the field, and I can't really mow around it. It's kind of on the edges like this one is, and some over there too, and some over here. And what I get is a lot of these guys, as you can see. And I used to walk around with a shovel, and I would, you know, cut them off at the bottom. And but my new best friend is my trimmer. Nice, you just go in there, cut it off right at the ground. So I'll be able to cut them a lot sooner too. I'll wait till they're, you know, starting to grow pretty good, and I'll cut them off. Probably have to do it twice, but you don't want to wait until they're blossoming and throwing seeds, because then you just get a lot more of them. So now I was able to go around and mow around some of this area, but I had a lot of wood chunks in here I didn't want to run with the mower. So I've been going around the trees with the trimmer and just kind of hacking some of the area around the tree. Like here, I kind of cut all the way around with the actual trimmer itself to kind of cut down some of the thistles and weeds that are growing. This one I got to do some cutting. You can see there's some little trees growing in here. Got to hack those off. But yeah, I think what I'm going to do later on, I don't know if I'll do it today yet or a couple days from now, I'll go in here with my weed whacker, my little Echo trimmer, and just trim this all down really nice and get it hacked down and get it looking good. So one of the ideas I had for my little Christmas tree lot here if I keep these. I mean, I might get rid of a couple rows. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'd really like to keep them though because they're kind of cool. But what I think I could do is I could take a whole bunch of my debris and chips and sawdust, and I could put it around all these trees, and I could moisten up the ground and keep the weeds from growing by covering it up. I'm going to put a good 6-8 inches around each tree, pack it in there really good, and that would stop the grass from growing. And then I could go down these rows too, and I could pile in the sawdust all in these rows. I could build it up, you know, a good foot, just mound it up, and it would keep the weeds down and keep the ground moist, and as it decomposes it would fertilize for future tree planting. So let me know in the comments what you think of that idea. Is that a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Because this is a pretty big area. I could probably get almost a year's worth of debris in here. As far as, I don't want to put big chunks of wood, but the small stuff, sawdust, I'd probably be more selective as far as what I put down. So let me know. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start the trimmer back up. I'm going to show you how I cut down this thistle over here. Hate thistles, absolutely hate them. And those are the nasty ones. There's two kinds. There's this kind of thistle right here, which is some type of a picker. I don't know what it is. These aren't terrible bad, but those big ones, this one right here, like this here, as you can see, it's taller than I am. And they are nasty. Nasty crap. So we're gonna trim it right now. This will be fun. Okay, so on that one that I just trimmed, I just thought I'd show you, because you probably from the camera couldn't see it because I was not cutting on the back side, but it had multiple tops here. I'll come in close so you can see here. See, there's kind of a fork right here, a cluster that goes this way, this way, this way. There's a whole bunch of them right here. So I hacked all these off because I want this to be the main one because that's the straightest one. So I took all this stuff off and that'll fill in and grow out. And so anyway, just thought I'd show you that up close. Not that you're here to get a tree trimming lesson, but just something interesting. So now we got some more to do. I got a bunch. I got this whole row to do, this row, all this through here, and there's some over there too. So I'm gonna get trimming. The trimming is complete, and I gotta say that the little trimmer, the hedge trimmer I bought, the new Husqvarna, worked great. Although, I gotta say this, because it's a little bitty saw, there's none of the anti-vibe dampening springs or anything. My hands are all tingly after, and that was a little less than an hour it took me to do that, and my hands are all tingly from hanging onto that thing. So that's one of the things a lot of people don't think about. You buy a small little bitty chainsaw or an implement like this, a little tool, it's not going to be made as well as far as comfort and function and everything. So my big saws that I run, my 576s and 572s, my hands never get tingly and numb like the old chainsaws of years ago, which is why you shouldn't use them, besides not having safety stuff on them. So yeah, it worked great, and I ran out of gas just about towards the end there. I put some more in, so it can cut for, I don't know, 45 minutes or so on a tank of gas. That's what it seemed to do. So I just counted, and I have 75 Christmas trees here. That's what I came up with. I might be off one or two. So 75 trees should last me the rest of my life. Of course, I don't think if I cut one a year that I'm gonna live that long. But I'm gonna be giving them to my kids. I have 3 kids, maybe a neighbor or 2. So I don't know, 5 to 10 a year, and then I'll just plant more if I decide to keep them like this right here. So I've got them planted so they're 6 feet apart. I have a few spots like right here, right there. These died right here. Got a dead spot there. There's nothing. There's a little dead one over here that died last year or 2 years ago, whatever. There's one right here that died. So that could be replaced, and there's a hole right here where another one needs to go. So I probably could fill in just in the holes that I have here with new seedlings, little ones I dig up. I probably could put in another 20 or so. There's probably about 20 openings in here, I would guess. And I dug all these up actually at my brother Kenny's woodyard, right where he parks his tractor, kind of up along the woods where he's got all of his railroad ties that he's working on. Right along that edge there, that's all balsams, and that's where we dug all these up. We just dug them up by hand and planted them. So I planted all these, and originally, like I say, I had them going all the way out here, and I had them going that way into the wood. I had like 140-ish, something like that, about twice as many. But I cut them down to make room for firewood, because the firewood makes me money right now. But the trees are not that much work. And like my dad always says, he figures his hours on his trees and then figured out where the sales were and kind of figured it out. He figures he's working for about $35 to $40 an hour, something like that, on his trees. That includes his planting, trimming, watering, and harvesting, total time into his trees. And this right here, 75 trees at $40 a piece, would be about $3,000 worth of trees right here if I was to sell them. That's what they're worth. So there's pretty good money in Christmas trees. And for those of you that don't know this, those of you that have trees or have worked on tree farms, you can get about 1,000 to 1,100 trees per acre. So 1 acre in 8 to 10 years can yield you $40,000. So there's money in Christmas trees. But you have to build a market, get your customers, and if you're going big scale, you need to have outlet for people to buy them. And then you're going to be selling them at a reduced price, because you're going to sell them wholesale. You're going to get 15, 20 bucks tops, because most people buy and want to double their money. But anyway, there they are. So the trimming is done. The little new Husqvarna toy worked fantastic. And I'm sweaty. It got hot out here. And the trees are trimmed, and I should have done them last year. A lot of these tops that I cut I had to go in and I had to really whack. I'll find one here that I had to whack way down. Like right here's one that had a big cluster in it. I had to whack this off. Let's see, there's one over here I can find. Right here's another one that had a big split. Right here, this was a big split going up. So I hacked that off and then cut the top off that one. Here was a split right here. This would have been cut off last year, but so anyway, there they are. That is it for today, folks. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you were entertained. And tomorrow I'm going to be back in the wood yard doing more work. It'll be fun. You should come along. Tomorrow morning, 5:30. Be there. I'll be here. I'll be here waiting for you. Between now and then, get outside, get cutting. Good night, Irene.